Good evening and welcome to an Earful of BJ.
Welcome to week 14. It's a big starting of a week, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I love playoff time. It just gets my blood boiling,
Oh,
you know?
man. Mine's been boiling all day, that's for sure.
We are in Brady's house, actually. It's our first live audience.
Woo!
We got some guys behind us. Say hey, guys. Woo!
Awesome.
That always makes us a little nervous, makes us, we're good though.
Jumpy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Fudge, week 13's over. We had some good matchups, ones that really meant a lot to make the playoffs here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start at the top here. I got a win, beat Cody to make the playoffs. That was fantastic for me, really exciting. Kyle beat Blake. I know that's hard for Blake. I know he was pretty upset about that.
Yeah.
Clay, you got a big win against your dad. Clay is here, guys. Let's go ahead and introduce him. Clay, thanks for being on air, man.
Oh, glad to be here, Jesse. Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you.
Good to have you. And then, let's see, what other big ones did we have here, guys? Logan beat Eric to knock him out. Eric was looking like he was going to come back and make the playoffs. I mean, he was looking good.
Oh, yeah.
And then, Fosh. Ooh.
Wow. Hey, I had two guys out on bye, okay? I'll use that excuse.
Yeah, go ahead. But I tell you, Jake is looking like...
Oh, man.
Like the team at the right time.
Yes.
And then we got to go to our primetime game last week. Good old Chris beat Sean. I know Sean really wanted that win.
Oh, yes.
That's all right. He had a good season, and now I told him, don't give up, man. Go and get that first-round pick.
That's right.
There's no reason he can't do it, you know?
Yeah, he can't give up on it.
Oh, yeah. So, Clay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just happy to make the playoffs 2 years in a row. Did not expect it.
Oh, yeah. And you made the playoffs, man. You made the playoffs. That is so awesome. And you did what, I don't know, is the typical Clay season again. You start slow, and then all of a sudden, the next thing I know...
Bam.
You got a great team.
Yeah, that just seems to happen that way. It's never planned, but you just have to work with what you got.
Oh, yeah. But, I think Ben Roethlisberger was a big key for you. He has been fantastic, and Sam just dropped him.
I still can't believe that.
Yeah, that, we'll just say that worked out well in my favor.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Clay, we got some questions here. This is a section called Ask the Commish.
There you go.
So this first one was a caller from, I think he's from Bloomington. His name's Chris. He said, Commish, you are a gracious and compassionate commish, and I admire you most for the service to the league, especially your willingness, how do you say that? Willingness, to help the technologically challenged among us. My question for you, though, is why assist Todile so much this year, enough to show him how to evolve into a croconaw, keep his roster set against divisional opponents, etc., only to not help him replace his two inactives this week with a chance to have a bye in the first round. In his matchup against, who was it? Oh, it was against you.
I'm not going to lie. I did know that he had two inactive players since about Thursday, and I did not tell him. It was really hard the last 40 minutes. I was just so afraid that he was going to go upstairs and check it, but he didn't. I kept him distracted. He made breakfast. I kept eating, kept him at the table, kept him talking about other things.
Attaboy.
But it worked out.
Oh, yeah. And then this next question we have is all the way from a guy named Ethan from Huntingburg. His question for you, Clay, is this the year McConnell wins the championship? There's 3 out of 10 teams in the playoffs are McConnells. Those are pretty good odds. What do you think the chances are that one of you guys wins?
I'm a numbers guy, so I'd say 30%.
30%. Hey, man, that's some pretty good math on the top of your head. I'm pretty impressed. So we got the consolation round, the round that really probably nobody wants to be in, but there is one good thing from it.
The first pick.
The first round pick.
Yeah,
absolutely. So do you guys have any favorites in that? I mean, let's look at it here and see what we got. Sean's getting a first round bye. I think he obviously has to be one of the favorites just because his record. He's the best record in there, right?
Yeah. I think so.
So he's got the best record. And then we only have, isn't there, Clay, I think there's only 4 games this week, right? 4 total matchups?
Yeah, that's right. 12 teams have the bye total between both tournaments.
Yeah. So we got, let's see, is it Trent and Sam in the first, in the consolation bracket here, first game? What do you guys think?
I mean, you just have to go with Trent. It's hard to bet on Sam.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask this question. I want you both to answer this.
All right.
Is Sam an elite fantasy player? He's got 2 championships. How can I mean that's a lot to argue, right?
I guess it's kind of the Eli Manning argument. Is Eli Manning elite? Because he has 2 rings? I just don't know.
Right.
That's about all I can say too. I just don't know, man. I don't get it.
I think you'd have to label him that because he has 2 championships, and there's guys that might have better teams than him regularly, but don't have championships, and would trade their great seasons for his 2 championships. Heck, even one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Would you trade going to the playoffs every year, and you'd be in the consolations instead for 1 championship?
I would do that 9 times out of 9.
Okay. All right. The other game we got here is Ethan. He's in the audience. And then we got Colin, who has had a rough season. And Ethan, at times, I kind of thought he was going to do it, you know?
Yeah, Ethan has looked good before. Colin looked good early, as in before any games were actually played. But since then, he's kind of gone downhill.
Yes. Yeah, he did look really good. And I actually had him as one of the top 5 teams in my projections. I loved his wide receivers. I thought he was great. Who's going to win that game,
I think I did too. Oh, I think Ethan will. Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Reagan, who's number 2 in this consolation round. Ooh. I mean, can we do Rookie of the Year voting, Clay? Is that possible?
I think we should. It would be really cool if it came down to the consolation championship, if they did happen to meet there. But yeah, we should vote for that. That'd be a fun thing. Hopefully no hard feelings, but as you guys kind of mentioned in passing, this will be the last time we have rookies.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Is 20 people the maximum we can have? I've never asked you that.
Yes, it is the NFL.com max.
Okay. And can you explain to us the trading now that we're in the playoffs? I think a few people asked me about that. I wanted to get your clarification.
Yeah, so for this week, anybody in the playoffs can trade with anybody else who's in the playoffs, anybody in the consoles with the consoles. Once you've won a game or lost a game, then you can only trade with other people who have also won or lost. So pretty much, if you're playing for the ring still, you can only trade with people playing for the ring. If you're playing for the first round pick, you can only kind of trade with people going for the same thing as you.
Okay. So what you're telling me is there's probably not going to be as much trading this year, or at this point, right?
Yeah, probably, definitely less.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured here.
Less to 0?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Let's see if we can get this going here, guys. You see, the truth is that I am chosen. Chosen by the fantasy gods to have a playoff position. Not everyone is chosen. The fantasy gods predetermined this before they created the realm of fantasy football. We are all their children, but the few of us are chosen to be the shining lights in the world's darkness. All right, fantasy playoffs.
Whoa.
I am so excited. I mean, is there a more exciting time in fantasy football?
Definitely not.
I mean, it's just
Agreed.
I love it.
This is awesome.
I love it. Okay, we got a few quotes here. I'm just gonna go through him. Logan, I asked him. I said, "Man, are you a big factor in the playoffs?" And he told me, "Man, my song's still going on. We're just too excited over here. You can't really hear it with these headphones on." He says, "I feel like right now, at this time, I am the best team in the league. I've been on a solid streak of wins, and yes, I'm confident about winning right now. This is my best year since the 11-2 glory days as Mr. Fantastic. My side of the bracket is a little more difficult, like I've talked about before, and I really feel that someone in the normal division is going to end up taking the cake. So Logan's pretty confident, guys.
Yeah, he is.
I like that, though. I mean, you got to have that if you're going to win. I mean, you have to feel confident about who you're playing, you know?
Oh, agreed completely.
I hit the mic. So when I look at players, I look at Matt. He's in the championship, or he has a chance at the championship. I feel like with Andrew Luck, his running backs, his tight ends. I mean, if they perform, how's he going to get beat? I mean, he's going to be tough. He's going to be real tough. Clay, what about my dad?
Dave's team, when you look at it, he doesn't have a weakness. He looks like he could be in an 8-team league. I guess if you had to choose something, it'd be defense or a kicker. But especially after that trade with Sean, where he can now choose between Carr and Carson Palmer, use the QB matchups, man, that really helps him a lot. Just makes him even better.
Yeah, that did help me.
Well, then what about Clay?
What about Clay here? Hey, well, like we mentioned earlier, he did pick up Roethlisberger a few weeks ago, and that really helped. I think that's his best player. And, of course, he needs to perform and not get hurt. Of course, Mike Evans, if he performs again, he's had a 30-plus week and 3 20s, so he needs to be there. He will. And
he's
of course,
solid.
Yeah, he's got Wes and Kelly and Patterson to be there. And Brian, his kicker, is doing a good job. And either defense, if he plays, would be great. So
you're stacked at defense.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I look at a guy like #Feel the Wern, he thought he was going to win the normal championship or the championship, and I tell you, I think Brady's got a shot at it. He still does. If Drew Brees is good, and his Viking defense is it's a 1-2 punch. He can perform. I'm telling you, he can do it. Clay, what about myself? I don't feel too good. Make me feel good, please.
Your team's another one that really not a lot of weak spots. I remember trying to trade with you throughout the season and thinking I just don't have anything to offer you because your team is that good. You're a little bit limited at quarterback with only Andy Dalton, and plus having an extra game to get to that championship, I think that could really bite you.
Yeah, it could. I don't doubt it.
All right, I got Jake here. Jake has really stepped up and become a serious threat, I think.
Oh yeah.
In these playoffs, man. And, he's got Russell Wilson, and he's gotten a lot better, like he always does, as long as he stays healthy too. And he's loaded with wide receivers, and he's lacking running backs. So
he's got Murray.
Yeah, if Murray goes down, that could hurt him a lot. But otherwise, yeah, he's got a good shot.
Like Logan said, man, he's got one of the best teams since his glory days, and if he can get hot with Eli Manning and Odell Beckham, that's all he needs to win. It really is. That can lead him.
Yeah, so the last person we have here is Dad Crokinall. I'd like to compare his team to somebody who really only works out their arms and doesn't work out their legs. He's really strong up top. However, he just has no depth after his quarterback and David Johnson. So, he has picked up Doyle, which somewhat helped him. But other than that, he's kind of had a lack of effort, having started 10 players that scored him 0 points throughout the year. And I think that lack of discipline as far as the waiver is probably going to come back to bite him throughout these playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, he's got Mariota and Wentz. I think he definitely needs to play Mariota, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, he's got somebody to fall back on there. And he's got great defense, the Ravens. And, of course, he's got Nelson, Miller, and Olsen. If they all do good like they have been, he'll be good. It's just his other players need to step up. So
the last team here, we got Chris, who is going to be the primetime game with me. Great matchup. Chris is good. He's got a solid roster. He didn't really have a weak point at this point in the game, but he can do it, guys. It's going to be a great primetime matchup. I've beat him 3 out of 2, or I'm 3-2 against him, but that doesn't make me feel good. I'm still incredibly nervous about it, but it's going to be an awesome matchup. Have a great first week of the playoffs, guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank